Hello guys, for more aviation content up here. So I'm recording in my phone right now and I don't have any simulation, but maybe perhaps in PTFS I will make a simulation for how the crash happened. So today we're going to be investigating the crash of 2976 of UPS, a cargo airliner. It this happened in November 4 of 2025, so fairly a week ago. So this was like a day after the holiday season of we have a basically different holiday season for us. So around local time 5:30 in the evening, the flight 2976 was bound for, actually I don't know where, but I'm in Wikipedia. Let's check. So the plane took off from Muhammad Ali International Airport in Louisville, Kentucky, bound for Honolulu, Hawaii. On November 4, the aircraft was operating a flight, that of the McDonnell Douglas DC-11. Now, recently, I had, or maybe sources say that the pylon of the aircraft exploded from fatigue. Now, if you don't know what a pylon is, let me check. Let me. This is the perfect example for what the pylon of an aircraft is. So, you see this plane model here, and you see how the plane's engines are attached using a bridge over here. There is a long narrow bridge gapping between the engine and the wing to attach to one another. This is called a pylon, an attachment for the engine and the wing. This one glues the wing and the engine together so that it won't bust apart like that. But in this case, looks like its pylon was overwhelmingly fatigued, and due to this, the pylon busted out of nowhere upwards, causing the engine to fly over the runway, and as a result, it didn't last a mile before it reached its crash spot. So, let's see its crash spot. Yeah, basically, this is tragic, guys. This is exactly like the previous air accidents involving these kinds of cases. Look at this, guys. Imagine being in this kind of state. So, the plane's engines were intact, and then the pylon broke into half, separating it from the wing, and then it flew upwards. Of course, the thrust of the engine is still intact, but we're not sure about that, since the hydraulics of this thing obviously won't work, and obviously the engine itself is like a flying rocket obstacle, so obviously it's difficult for the plane to maintain climb. So this is basically a tough situation to be in. Personally, can't imagine the state of being in this accident. So here's the footage of the air crash accident during that day, and I'll be making a simulation not long after this video. Oh, you can imagine this is an AI, but as much as you want to imagine how much this is an AI video, it's not, guys. Look at that. It looks so AI, but it's not, guys. So yeah, much to the disasters of those on board. Oh geez, that's a lot of smoke and unhealthy smoke amount of, yeah. Apparently, there's now a lawsuit of this. Morgan and Morgan announced the first lawsuit filed by two plaintiffs against the UPS company and the Boeing company and the General Electric for criminal negligence in the federal court on November 7. Okay. The Morgan lawyers said that the air crash acted like a bomb. Yeah, well, it's true actually. It acted like a bomb, the explosion on the engine. One plaintiff, Samuel Shill, blah blah blah, full of negativity. But the best we can do to it is to avoid this kind of accident by thoroughly inspecting and maintaining the aircraft to the potentially fullest. If not fullest, I mean possibly maintain the aircraft to its full potential if it's airworthy enough to fly. So yeah, that's basically it. Very tragic altogether. Let's see how many souls were lost. Okay, and it says the occupants basically were three people, so not bad. Not bad in terms of passenger safety, but all of them died in the. At least it's not like a passenger aircraft that suffered this kind of accident. I've noticed that there was another plane crash involving a passenger accident, and that was more fatal. What was that? I think it's a passenger, being given that it was an American Airlines flight. I saw that somewhere. That was very. I mean, despite the sheer amount of occupants aboard this flight, it's still tragic. You can't deny. You can't deny that this is tragic. This is still tragic altogether. Souls were still lost, and there was no compensation for whatever this air company offers. Actually, it's not worth the compensation compared to the loss of souls on board just because of this one pylon on the engine busting into two. Like, imagine this. Actually, there's another airplane fleet like this, but it's the non-winglet type version like this that lost both of its engines mid-flight, which was twice more fatal. Imagine a big ship flying into the sky and it would crash out of nowhere in a speck of land. Must have burned that into ashes. That was twice more fatal. Yikes. Imagine that. This might this twice happened. So those who are managing the aviation sector at least do something to at least maintain your aircraft twice if it's airworthy or not. It's so terrible, not gonna lie. I've covered so many aircraft accidents, even the Air India, which had its first hull loss in since its foundation in 2000 something. Wait, 2000, when was 787 founded? 787 founded. It was actually founded in 2004, so it was twice older than me. Man, imagine this accident happening to passenger aircrafts. So anyways, I'll end the video here and I will make a simulation of the video. So peace out.